Does anyone here have a twin brother or sister? Perfect. Are you identical? So have you ever wondered why identical twins with the same identical DNA behave so differently when they grow up in their future? One might develop Alzheimer's and the other not, with great memory at 70. One might have obesity and the other is super athletic. That's because of our epigenome. Our epigenome is that interface between our environment, our lifestyles, and our DNA. So imagine the pizza slice or the apple that you eat gets embedded on your DNA. This is interpreted so differently between different people. Our DNA is like a book that gets read differently according to the bookmarks and tags that you impose on it. Also, like very like music. Musical pieces are read differently by different musical instruments, giving the same musical piece of DNA into different sounds. Let's delve deeper into the complexity of our DNA, which is, believe it or not, 2 meters long, but we only know 2% of its function. Our DNA is highly tangled inside our cells, and to study its function and to make it turned on or switched on, it has to be untangled and unwind. This untangling is orchestrated by the numerous molecules and marbles, as you can see, that surround the DNA. And guess what? In the lab, we decided to remove one of those marbles, and guess what? We found Meg Ryan, not just in Hollywood, but right inside our cells. Meg Ryan is an RNA, considered the cousin of our DNA. And it helps turning genes on and off, particularly in bone diseases like osteoarthritis or in Alzheimer's diseases and obesity. Take alone osteoarthritis, it affects around 500 million people worldwide, around 7% of the global population. So studying Meg Ryan and trying to target it will help us develop targeted therapy and personalized medicine towards those diseases. So every time you savor a slice of pizza or a bite of an apple, or even get stressed because of your 3 minutes grad slam presentation, remember, you're feeding that to your Meg Ryan, and it will affect your future health. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this talk. This is amazing, all of the work, again, more work around medicine, and really thinking about how to help people live longer and happier lives, healthier lives. So it's really, really amazing stuff. So tell us about yourself, where you're from, and how you ended up as a postdoc at NYU Abu Dhabi.
Okay, so I'm from Egypt. I was born and raised there. I was a pharmaceutical science graduate, and I did my master's in the American University in Egypt in biotechnology and metagenomics, and then I moved to KAUST in Saudi Arabia for my PhD. And it was there when I was on one of the conferences, and I met the postdoc that was working in the lab I'm working in now, Thomas Bennett, and this networking made me end up here in Professor Piergiorgio Percivali's lab.
So it's really interesting to think about how important networking is, and how you use conferences as a way to make those connections. You never know where things might work out for you, based on something like attendance at a conference. So that's really, really wonderful to hear. So how did you first discover, how do you decide to work on Meg Ryan? I mean, like, why this particular type of RNA?
So actually, they are two, Meg and Ryan.
Oh, okay.
And I was interested in long non-coding RNAs, which are the RNAs that don't code for proteins, and they are those 98% of our DNA that we don't know anything about. And long non-coding RNAs have been recently, like let's say the past 20, 30 years, been starting to show the functions that they have in the cell, because definitely everything has a job to do, and the 98% of our DNA or our genome is definitely reflected into a function in our cells. So my interest in non-coding RNAs came up from there, and in the lab we are working on like mice cell lines that don't have one of the important and structural proteins of the cell, and when this protein is removed, one of those marbles, this Meg and Ryan were very highly elevated, and this is why I decided to study them.
Yeah, amazing discovery, amazing work. So thank you very much. Thank you so much.